Welcome to Giving Voice to Vision. Our guest today is Mary Travostino. For over 25 years, Mindshift Transformations founder Mary Travostino has been helping individuals of all ages develop health and well-being through personal and group coaching. As a certified holistic health coach and certified functional nutrition counselor, Mary provides comprehensive services to guide and help you feel the confidence and support you need to overcome your challenges. That is why her mission is simple: building a sense of community by giving clients health and wellness education tools and resources to feel happy, healthy, and capable of managing life's pressures. Through her own battle with weight loss coupled with mental illness, Mary recognized her personal journey would prepare her for what was yet to come. Recognizing the link between obesity, autoimmune disease, gut health, and mental wellness, Mary went on to complete her certification as a functional nutrition counselor at the Functional Nutrition Institute. Regardless of what decade you are in, if you are looking to make this the best decade of your life, Mindshift Transformations is here to help you transform your goals into a reality. Serving both individuals or groups, together, she will help create a positive and lasting transformation in your life. Are you ready for a change? Let's welcome Mary Travostino. Welcome, Mary. Glad to have you with us.
Thanks, Bob. It's good to see you.
Well, God is working through you in mighty ways, and one of the ways He's doing that is through Mindshift Transformations. Can you tell us a little bit about Mindshift Transformations?
So, Mindshift Transformation was created probably about 15 years ago. And it was created through Romans 12, 1 and 2, not to be conformed to the world, but to be transformed. And my lifetime girlfriends were helping me put logo together. And my girlfriend goes, you know how we always say, it's a mindset. She goes, what if we said it was a mind shift instead of setting your mind on a vision, but to shift your mind, right? And not to be conformed, but to be transformed. So that's how that came into fruition. And it actually started, I wanted to create a program for troubled teen girls because I was my mother's problem child. And it was really based on, finding our core values and our purpose in our life and to be a leader in the community. And so I dabbled working with teens for a while. And then it kind of went off to the wayside because I was in a corporate job doing weight loss. But that's how Mindshift Transformations came to fruition. It was actually for young girls coaching program.
Well, how did the process get started? What did you do to start Mindshift Transformations?
Part of that was, my dad died when I was 10. And by the time I was 14, I really became my mother's wild child. And even though she really had a handle on me, I think there was so much unprocessed grief. My mother had lost her mom when she was 11. My father's father had walked out on him when his family when he was 10. And so you had these two people who knew pain and loss. So, she did her best, but, she was really about this was God's plan. We have to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, and there was no grieving. And this would bubble up as a teenager.
As you grew up, you mentioned you had challenges kind of growing up, but you've kind of taken that pain through your growing years, and now you're using it in your adult years to impact others. What did that experience do for you? What has it done for you in Mindshift Transformations?
So, you know what, Bob? I think, when I reflect back, I was always curious why, right? So, of course, I lose my father at 10. This is what we call an ACE score, adverse childhood experiences. And even though my father left us financially set, my mother was a great mother. She took us on great vacations. We went camping all summer down the shore. We grew up in a lake community. We had an amazing childhood, but we also had unprocessed grief after my father's death. And I think as I went through life, and especially I got older, through this, I struggled with drugs and alcohol in the 80s. And then, by God's grace and mercy, I was able to give that up. But then, I struggled with obesity, right? Because we give up one addiction for another addiction. And I see how all these obstacles, which you don't see when you're going through there, but the obstacles are the way. And I was curious. I wanted to know more. So I wanted to know more about my struggles with weight. I wanted to know more about my struggles with early on addictions and where was that root cause from. And I really hated school as a young person. I dabbled in college for a while, and here I found myself later on studying addictions, and going back to college and graduating last year with a degree in addiction. So I see how, these obstacles actually opened my eyes and created a path to my career, if that makes sense.
That does. And you look at the obstacles, and we face obstacles a lot of times with a vision God gives us, and sometimes it's a smooth sailing, but a lot of times the road is kind of rocky in getting to the or turbulence in the air, so to say, until we get to a certain height, and then once we're at that height, things kind of level out. Mindset,
Well, go
mindset
ahead.
transformations. Tell us what it is. So for the person listening, if we talk about mindset transformations, what is it, and and you mentioned kind of the why, but tell us the what.
So where I am today in life, I've spent the last 18 years in the arena of weight loss, helping people release weight. And even then, Bob, I was exposed to, many women, who held on to weight were also holding on to unprocessed grief, right? So I learned so much as a coach. Um, you know, a couple things, like if I kind of step back and look at where I started in life, I just thought I was this small town girl, get married, have children. But it's amazing how, starting off as a young girl, we had to work, for our cars. And, if we wanted the Princess line phone, all of my siblings were working from the time that we were 14. And I started in the restaurant business, where I really learned people skills and how to be of service to others. In fact, that's my spiritual gift. And always volunteering and always doing. My mother always to push that. So I can see where those things, even as a troubled teen, right, there was this core value to be of service to others. And then I took my struggles with my own weight issues, or even addictions to sugar, or whatever it looked like at that time of life. I see where I wanted to help not only empower myself, but I wanted to help people also be empowered. And I find myself really working more with women than men in the coaching arena, and really help people with that transformation. Because so many times women, we feel like, well, I'm too old, I'm too this, it's too late for transformation. But as long as God has breath in our lungs, it is never too late. So, yeah, at 63, here I am reinventing again.
Well, that's great. Tell us where Mindshift Transformations has taken you. Tell us, where you've started the journey. You've been on the journey. You've got an office. You meet with people. But what has transpired since you started Mindshift Transformations?
So things were kind of put on hold for a while. 4 years ago, I resigned from a corporate job that no longer, I loved what I did, but the corporation itself no longer served a good, it just was not a healthy environment for me. And so I resigned from that position. And that's when I really decided to go full throttle back to school. So I went back to college to study addictions and human services. I went to Living Proof Institute to learn about the metabolic reset, what I teach now. I went to the Academy for Addiction and Mental Health Nutrition, which was amazing. Really learning about the mind, body, spirit connection, and especially with depleted neurotransmitters. So I've become, somebody who never liked school. All of a sudden, in the last 4 years, I've become this perpetual student. And so I have all these great tools. And then I studied 3 years ago at 4 years ago at Functional Nutrition Alliance. So I became certified in functional nutrition, certified at the Academy for Addiction, and I revamped my whole business to really take those pain points that I suffered from, whether it was weight or sleep disturbances, even having my own mental health issues. And I took all those pain points and I fine-tuned it. I just kept saying, I had two near-death experiences, and the last one was 2.5 years ago. And I just said, as long as God still has breath in my lungs, he obviously has a plan and a purpose for my life. The thing for me is I always want an immediate answer from God. And sometimes I'll be like, Mary, Mary, Mary. And I'm like, it's okay, God, I got this one. Why don't you go help someone else? And that doesn't work out too good. But I see where all these obstacles became blessings and how they are unfolding. And I've had to unpack a lot of things. I had to address a lot of things. And Bob, it was my own mind shift transformation. It was like newfound freedom. I remember one time when I resigned from my job, and really, then COVID hit. And I really was having mental health issues. I didn't even know who I was. And a pastor friend of mine, he saved my life. He's like, Mary, you really need to go for therapy. And I've got this perfect female Christian counselor for you. So when I met with Erica, I think it was like the second or third week in therapy, she had asked me, Mary, are you coaching anybody? Are you counseling anybody right now? And I said, no. And she goes like this, Bob, phew, because I was in no position. God was really showing me that you have work to do. And so that was another mind shift transformation. So this is where I feel now I'm in a place where I can really help empower people. I've done the work, and let me come alongside you and give you the gifts that God has given me to help you, right, to your next mind shift transformation.
Well, you've got a lot of tools in your toolbox now.
I think so.
And that's great. And you've got a lot of wisdom to give out. But as our audience is listening in, what message would you have that you'd like to share, maybe especially for women?
I feel we really need to support each other. We need to empower each other. I think we need to cultivate our communities. We need to get off our phones. There's just so much isolation and so much depression. I shared with you in March, I'm walking on the beach. I'm just crying out to God, please, God, where do you want me? And I am approaching this beautiful woman, in her 80s. And as we, came upon each other, I looked at her and I said, hello. And she goes, hello. And I said, yes. She goes, wait, what did you say to me? I said, hello, how are you? You are so beautiful. And so here was this woman, Jewish, and here I am, Christian, and these two women met. And it was honestly, Bob, love at first sight. It was a friendship that I never dreamed of. And if I had been with my earbuds on or not opened to dialogue, I would have missed one of the biggest blessings of my life. Reese's Sweet has changed my life. And she's part of the Just Say Hello campaign in Ocean County. And this is rabbis and priests and pastors and Jews and Christians and Muslims all working together in community by just saying hello. I think we are suffering from mental health and isolation, and the only way we can get through that is to get off our phones and start being part of community.
That's great. How has your faith impacted not only your life but Mindshift Transformations? How has your faith played a part in that?
Part of my metabolic reset, I teach 12 weekly educational workshops, and I always weave scripture in those PowerPoints. And even when I was teaching in a public school, fifth graders about core values and like addressing being bullied, or are you the bully, or are you the bystander, or cultivating your community with leadership, even with the kids. Like I love the fruits of the spirit. And I would have these little handouts. If one person were to describe you in one word, what would it be? And I go, here's a few words. And I would put love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, right? Goodness, faithfulness, self-control, and, gentleness in alphabetical order. So nobody could say like, hey, wait a minute. If they did know the fruits of the spirit, I couldn't be accused of, teaching the Bible in a public setting. But the fruits are really important to me. But I always weave scripture, whether you're fearfully, wonderfully made as a woman, but I weave something in and just possibly plant a seed.
Well, I've got a question regarding your work that you've done. Is there a story, and you don't need to share the name of the person, but is there a story you can share of somebody who had a mindset transformation, and can you share with us what that was?
I'm really blessed because I've worked with so many clients along the way, just helping them discover, root cause of their health issues, and that it can be so simple, right, to heal the body from the inside out. I look at my journey through life, and, I've battled obesity. God gave us this amazing temple, and it has an incredible way to heal itself. And so I love, when people are really committed to the process. It's a 3-month process of really learning how to transform your eating, whether it's meal planning and prepping, and, refraining from sugar and foods and alcohol and gluten and dairy and all those things. I've been blessed. I could even pinpoint, I changed my own life, and now I have these gifts. And I think when people are ready to receive them for transformation, it's amazing. I mean, I work with, young women from 18 and all the way up into their 70s. Honestly, Bob, there are so many beautiful stories of health and healing. Whether they changed their thyroid markers, or whether they actually came off medication for hypertension or high blood sugar, their diabetes changed. They came off their medication. I mean, their energy is back. They feel amazing, and they want to be part of that process. And that is a beautiful thing.
Interesting, the stories that probably you can remember, as far as the ones that have gone through the program and are going through the program. And at the end of this podcast, I will put up information on how people can get a hold of you and how to find out more about Mindshift Transformations on your website. One of the things, we have people who may have a vision and people who may not have a vision. And there may be young women out there who are thinking, what do I have to give? How can I add value to others? What would you tell them as far as how to develop their purpose and to, kind of find their voice?
It's funny when I see, I started at 14 in the restaurant business, and I have to tell you, Bob, that gave me skills to be a people person, how to look people in the eyes, how to communicate. And I always tell people young people in the restaurant business, you never know who you're serving.
Hmm.
And that person might see something so amazing in you and give you an opportunity you never dreamed of. And that's what happened to me. My first, I was a bartender. I was working a day job Monday through Friday, and I worked a couple nights in this really great Irish family pub. And this gentleman goes, Mary, you should be a saleswoman. And he gave me this opportunity to sell advertisement to hospital publications, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up in North Carolina on a job. I met another gentleman who introduced me to somebody who made surgical instruments out in Long Island. And from that job, I went into work for McKesson General Medical. And from that job, I worked at Heal Incorporated. I mean, I was calling on integrative, medical doctors 30 years ago and really didn't even know, wow, it was almost like it was handed to me. So when I reflect back, I see how these people believed in me. They saw something that I did not. And, you have to be ready to receive. It's really emotional, when you reflect back. Believe in yourself, because there's always somebody out there that's going to believe in you.
Mary, is there one person in your life that you can remember that believed in you and that really got you started?
My mother.
Tell us about her.
Hold on.
That's okay.
She was so ahead of her time. She was into holistic health before anybody was. And, this was in the 60s and the 70s. She was seeing a chiropractor, and, he told her, you want to have a good, healthy life. Don't eat anything white sugars, anything like that. And she cleaned out our cupboards. This is in the 60s and the 70s. And, she always said, be the best you can be, no matter what you want to be. So she always believed in me. And even though I was her problem child in the beginning, by the time I hit my early 20s, it was just such an amazing relationship. I used to take her on the road with me on sales calls, and she'd come go all through New England with me. But she was furious, and in all that she did, she was an advocate for those less fortunate. She taught us how to be servants, how to volunteer, how to give yourself, to others. So yeah, she was an amazing human being. She was loved by so many people. She used to throw these summer parties at her house, and Bob, she would put up these big, tents. And I would tell you, we would have 75, 100 people from surrounding nursing homes at our house. We would have them bust in. They were in wheelchairs. They had MS. They had dementia, but she had so much love. And we would just feed them hamburgers and hot dogs. It was like a big event. So many of the residents of this nursing home, they lived for this summer party. So she just gave selflessly to others. And those are big shoes to fill. But she was great. She was a firecracker. For sure. For sure. It was so funny. I saw our principal. We were at a 65th Jubilee. We went to St. Mary's School in Denville. It's no longer there. And Sister Mary Joan is no longer with us. But, after my father died, I just got in so much trouble. And I spent a lot of time, in the principal's office. And I said to Sister Mary Joan one day, I go, I'm sorry for being such a bad girl. She goes, you weren't a bad girl, Mary. You just had a fiery spirit. And it's funny because I have my mother's spirit. We stick up for those who are less fortunate, So, but there were so many people in your path. Like, I think when you really reflect on life, the people that impacted your life or saw things in you that you never saw yourself, it's amazing. But here at 63, Bob, I don't think God's done with me yet.
No, he's just getting started.
I think so. I'm ready to buckle up.
You're just getting started.
Oh, thank you.
With a phrase that it's become a trademark for you. Can you share with us that phrase?
This comes from my mother. So, if you ever complained that you were having a bad day, she would always say, Mary, you think you're having a bad day, write your problems down, on a piece of paper with 5 of your friends and throw it in a hat. She goes, you'd want to pick your problems. And she would say, now go have a great day and make it great for someone else. That came from my mom.
And you say that, and I know it's on your website as well. And it's a great saying as far as, have a great day and make it great for someone else as well. And that puts in perspective kind of your life mission, is for other people to have a great day and make it great for someone else. You are doing that through your life, through your ministry, through your church, through your community, and through Mindshift Transformations. And I want to give you the chance to have a last word of anything you'd like to share with the people listening in.
Well, Bob, I need to thank you, and your wife, Michelle, and, Life by Design came in my life at really what I didn't know was a very dark time. And you really have helped my walk with Christ, and being part of so many faithful prayer warriors, and your team is amazing. And I really need to get back and reconnected with that. But you were really part of the process of my healing. And for that, I'm truly grateful. I didn't know I was going through it at that time. And I'm going to say you came into my life at a very pivotal point for me. So thank you for that. Talk about people who have changed your life. I want to thank all of you from Life by Design.
Well, thank you, Mary, for sharing with us. And thank you for sharing the story of Mindshift Transformations and sharing about your life as well. And again, you have taken the pain and turned it into purpose. And it's beautiful to see the blessings that have come out of that. So I just want to applaud you for what you've done and what you're doing. So
thanks, Bob.
Keep on doing it.